This is an Arduino. You eat it. No, you don't eat it. It's an Arduino Pro Micro to be exact, and it's a microcontroller. And they're pretty easy to program, actually, and that's nice. Now, I got this because I wanted to be able to turn old 80s computer keyboards into modern USB keyboards. Well, I chose the wrong Arduino, or did I? This version of the Arduino only has 12 inputs, and most keyboards have more than that. Well, they need more than that. Like I think the Commodore 16, VIC 20, etc. They've got 16 pins. I think it's right. And other computers, you know, more or possibly more. So I thought, okay, I can't use these, and then I started thinking, well, wait a minute, I've got two of them. So what if I did this? Put them in the end like that, and then I think I need my magnifying glass so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, and I'm blocking the camera. And then put some right there. And then put some more pins. Oh, I think. Right in there. Is that right? Well, almost. And then put a socket over that, and voila, instead of 12 inputs you've got 24 inputs. Now that I can work with. Well, I think I got them all soldered. My soldering's not too good, but I think they're on there. It seems like the trick is to like get at the very top of them and let the solder kind of melt down around the pin. I don't know. I'm still working on my soldering technique, but I think it's in there. Hopefully, we'll see. Okay, so after a couple hours of designing, planning, I came up with this, and also with planning, designing with the parts I have available to me at the moment, because I wanted to get this project done today and not have to wait for things to come in. This is what I came up with. It looks very nice and clean and simple, but I'm gonna have to, and there's my bad soldering, but I'm gonna have to cut a bunch of wires and solder them to the correct places, so it's going to look real messy after a while. But, so the board will fit in here. The Arduinos will fit in here like this, maybe like that, and the Commodore keyboard will fit in like this. it'll look like this, but it'll have a bunch of wires on the back, a bunch of bodge wires. So, because that's what's going to actually make the connections between the keyboard connector and the Arduinos. And I've got a plan for the Arduinos to talk to each other, because they're going to have to communicate with each other to be able to, correctly translate the key presses to the connector here. So I will show that momentarily. But right now I'm going to get to work on the wires. Alright, next clip. Okay, so these three wires are the communication wires between the two Arduinos. And that's going to tell it, the Arduino, which row or columns to use when operating the Commodore keyboard. So actually I should have crossed these wires, but I'm going to change the code to accommodate this, because it's easier just to solder them straight through without trying to solder over each other, or have the wires cross over each other. So I'm going to fix that in software. Okay, I'm going to show some of the code. Alright, this is Arduino. This is, I think you can get this from arduino.cc, something like that. You can look it up, it's easy to find. So that's the program you're going to use or I'm using to update, to program the Arduinos, basically. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so here's the program, and I was going to use some programs I found online, but since I kind of just had come up with my own method of putting two Arduinos together and doing that, I just wrote it from scratch. I did take one line of code, which I'll show here in a minute, out of another program, or somebody else had created a Commodore 64 to USB device. The program here that's commented out is the one that runs on the Arduino, that is scanning the rows and then sending that data over to the other Arduino, which I call Arduino number 1, that actually sends the key types over the USB port to the computer. And it's just going through the rows, and right here I got this from actually these lines I got these from another program I found online, where I didn't completely understand apparently how the 64 keyboard worked, but looking through the other guy's code, it helped me understand what I needed to do. Because instead of programming the Arduino to pull those lines down to ground, I was using a ground wire to do it. So I was doing it mechanically when I should have been, or hardware when I should have been doing it through software. Then when I look through that guy's code, it's like, oh, okay, that's what I need to do. So that's those lines right there, and that's the only really modification I had to make to my program. So right here it is it's scanning it's going through each row, and it's converting that into a 3-bit number to send to the other Arduino. And I'm using bit 15 to let the other Arduino know, hey, stop what you're doing. Wait till I get done. Then it sets it to high to let the other Arduino know, okay, you can now do your thing. And then it sets the row pin to high as opposed to bringing it to ground. Okay, and that's a pretty small, simple program. It's not very long. It's like maybe 20, 30 lines long. Now the next program, and I got all this code in the same file, so I just, if I needed to update one, I could just comment the code out, and needed to update the other one, I just uncomment it. So this one sets up the first Arduino, which is actually doing most of the work. It sets all the input lines to input, or the pins to input, and if pin 15, which I've got as the sync pin, basically between the two Arduinos, if it's good to if it's high, then it's okay. I can read the data from the other Arduino, and then it gets the 3 bits, and it converts that into a number 0 through 7, and then it goes through the keyboard. It looks for a key press, and if it's on that one particular row, then it's going to be one of 8 keys pressed, and it just prints that to the screen basically. And that's it. I mean, that's the whole thing. So I will post a copy of this program on my website, and I'm going to cut to the next clip. Well, it's done. It's not pretty, but there it is. I've got some magnifying glasses that I'll be able to use. It's going to be coming in the mail so that I can wear while I'm soldering. Because right now I've got to use a little magnifying glass, look at what I'm about to solder, and then put that down, then solder it, and it's kind of guess, and then take the little magnifying glass and look back to see where I soldered at and see if I got it right. I've been pretty lucky so far, but the better tools I have, then the better I'll be at it. So my soldering should improve once I get the magnifying glasses I can wear. Anyway, some thoughts on this. I think that the other Arduino, since the second one only needs to be needs 5 volts, I think that I can run that 5 volts off the other Arduino, so I can eliminate the need for the dual USB input. I kept that little ground wire right there, the little black ground wire, just so I would know which one was the first Arduino. That helps me identify it, because that's the one that actually needs to be connected to the computer with a USB cable. I need to do that. I need to add the key modifiers like shift and control and Commodore key to when in addition to pressing that and pressing another key, it does something else. So I need to put that in the code. That's not in there. The restore key's not hooked up. I ran out of pins on the Arduinos. However, looking at it, or reading through the Arduino information, I think I can use the address pins, or I'm sorry, the analog pins, A0, A1, A2, A3. I think I can use those and make those digital, and then use those. So I should be able to hook up the restore key using the analog pins on Arduino. I think from what I've read, I think I can do that. So without further ado, I'm gonna hook this up and show it working, hopefully. Alright, so here is the the dual USB cable to both Arduinos. You know, hopefully I can reduce that down to one, like I said in the previous clip, by just you know, hopefully running power off the first Arduino to the second one. And I've got it. I think this is a Commodore 64 keyboard. It's either a Commodore 64 keyboard or a VIC-20 keyboard. Missing an F1 key. That's hooked up. Let's see. I don't know if you can see that. And I made this to where I can take the Arduinos off. It's socketed, or you know, I can of course unplug this keyboard and plug in a different Commodore keyboard. All right, I'm gonna plug it in. And hopefully type on it. Let's see. And the way I've got it is when you press the Commodore key, it'll say Commodore. And press the shift key, it'll say left shift key or right shift key. Cursor keys, I've got those hooked up where it just says left cursor or left right cursor, up down cursor, just so I can test it. So I can go back and change those. And control key control. Here we go. Right, control, run stop, run, Commodore key, left shift key, space is a space, F3, F5, F7, cursor, left right, up down, that's right shift, return, delete, home key, minus, plus, and like the pound key, it'll say Brit, up, asterisk, at symbol, 0, yeah, there it goes, the little sticky buttons. And I've got the apostrophe set to the left arrow right up there. Security. And of course, already did that. Sorry about that, I sneezed. I got the camera off real quick. So it's, you know, it's working. You know, ain't that cool? And I just noticed that the little light flashes on the, you know, Arduino when it does the key there. So that is so cool. Like I said before, I've got to put the modifier keys in here. You know, to where if you press shift or Commodore key and all that stuff, and it'll do a different. You know, do the key modifier thing. You know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I'm very happy with that. It's it's my first build with Arduinos, and you know, I just used what I had and worked with it, and I'm very happy with it. I'm not happy with my soldering. My soldering is terrible, but hopefully that will improve. Like I said before, when I get some things to help me, you know. So this is Scotty with Scotty Animation. I will post the program code and all that stuff on my website as soon as I can. I'll post this video first, and give me a day or two to post the other stuff on my website. It takes me longer to update my website than it does to upload a video. But yeah, that is cool. You know, I like that. You know, again, there are better ways to build a Commodore keyboard to USB interface. I'm not an expert. I just stumble my way around this stuff, and you know, hopefully it works. You know, and it today it worked. It worked out. So yeah. I like it. It's ugly, but I like it. Alright, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. That's fine too. Alright, people, this is Scotty with Scotty Animation. Uh, Stay tuned from a word from our sponsor, which is me. Alright, talk to you later. For more content, you can visit www.scottyaniimation.com. There's a lot more stuff on there.